हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। अभ्रमं भङ्गरहितम् अजडं विमलं सदा आनन्दतीर्थमतलं भजेतापत्रयापहं नित्यासिद्धान्तदुद्ध्वान्त विध्वंसनविचक्षणः चैतीत्यागतनिर्भासतां नो हृदम्बरे अत्तिकल्पितकल्पोऽयं प्रत्यत्तिगतकेसरी व्यासतीर्थ गुरुर्भूयात् अस्मदिष्टात् सिद्धये तपो विद्याविरक्त्यादि सद्गुणौघाकरानं वादिराजगुरून् वन्दे हैग्रीपदाश्रयान् पूज्य राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे गुरुवादिध्वान्तरवे वैष्णवेन्दीवरेन्दवे श्री राघवेन्द्र गुरुवे नमोऽत्यन्ते आळवे आपादमूलिपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाक्तिं स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्तु मनोरथाः। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. We are doing Bhagavad Gita, second adhyaya, the concept of Aparoksha Jnani. So, we talked about it a little bit in the previous class. Probably we may talk about this in maybe another maybe 2-3 sessions, because this is a very very useful and practical thing that we recognize who are really the great jnanis and who are really a pretend jnanis, because a lot of people we see, like, we talked about fake babas, fake people who pretend to be great jnanis, but this particular section gives us the information about how to recognize such people. Of course, one of the things that is mentioned is the aparoksha darshana, one who acquired. Aparoksha darshana means seeing the bimbarupi, the Paramatma is present in everybody, but we do not see him because there is a kind of a layer that is blocking. We call actually jiva, chadika, paramachika. Basically, they are kind of layers which are preventing us from seeing ourselves, our soul, our own Atma, and also Paramatma. We are not able to see that because of that layer that is being present. And the first time that Aparoksha Darshana happens, those layers are removed. So we will be able to see Paramatma within us. The first time it happens, it will give such a big thrill, and the person will immediately be kind of a self-discipline. He will enter kind of, will exhibit natural. Of course, even before the Aparoksha Jnana, they will behave in a very wonderful, nice way. But there'll be a little bit of effort in achieving certain things. But after Aparoksha Jnana, what happens is they will do effortlessly. They will do things which are unique for them. So this is what the Aparoksha Jnana does it. And a few slokas in Bhagavad Gita explain us how it happens. And we saw the prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnas tadochyate. That kind of Aparoksha Jnani is called sthita prajna. That means firm knowledge is stationed in them. They are doing everything in a way that's very natural and effortless. We call swabhava siddha. Basically, inherently they are able to do it. And there can be good people. It's not that every Aparoksha Jnani, only the Aparoksha Jnanis are nice, good people, Paroksha Jnanis are not good. It's not like that. But there is a difference between them. Aparoksha Jnani does that everything so naturally and effortlessly. Whereas Paroksha Jnani, they do it with a little bit of effort. They take some effort to do that. They'll also be nice and wonderful people. But they will exhibit these qualities, though not continuously, but most of the time they exhibit the qualities. Then another question pops up in our mind. Hey, we are talking about Aparoksha. We are not Aparoksha Jnanis. We are talking about Paroksha Jnanis who are at a very high level. We are not those also. So these are all not applicable to us. It's not so. It is applicable to us also, in the sense we emulate them. We do the sadhaka, we are all sadhakas. We do lot of effort. We put in lot of effort to achieve this. Why should we achieve that? Because for an Aparoksha Jnani, he does it naturally. But people like us, by going in that path, by making an effort to achieve that, what happens is we go closer to acquiring the Aparoksha Jnana. It may not happen this lifetime. It may happen next lifetime, or maybe after 10 lifetimes. Doesn't matter. Paramatma is so gracious that he will make us in the next life, closer and closer and closer he will take us. So our effort does not go waste. That's why for a sadhaka with a lot of effort, they try to achieve these qualities, and that will eventually lead for aparoksha gnana. So it is applicable across the board to everybody in their own level, at their own level, in their own way, in their own means. It is available, but we have to make an extra effort. If we are not aparoksha jnanis and we are not top plate paroksha jnanis also, so we are ordinary people, still it is applicable to us. For example, here, prajahati yada kaman evil desires. So we do get desires. We have to differentiate which are evil, which are not evil. Those desires are stationed or seated in the mind. And atmani eva atmana tushtaha. The person should be content, pleased with the darshana of Paramatma inside him. So, with that darshana of the Paramatma, he should crave for it. People like us, we should crave for that darshana of Paramatma inside us. When we sit for dhyana, we try to meditate, contemplate on Paramatma, and think about him, the gracious appearance of Paramatma. We try to see that. So, that kind of an effort has to be made by us. So, that is the first sloka, that is number 55 in the second adhyaya. That's where Krishna starts giving instruction or lakshanas of this sita prajna. We talked about sthita prajna when he is asampragnata samadhi. We talked about that, means he is not aware of the external circumstances. But this asampragnata samadhi will not happen all the time, because the person has to lead his life, he has to live his life, he has to conduct his bodily activity, dehayatra we call. So he has to do all this. So only for certain amount of time he will be involved in that asampragnata samadhi. So the question Arjuna asked is not what that jnani does during asampragnata samadhi, but during times other than asampragnata samadhi, how do we recognize? Because he interacts with the society. During asampragnata samadhi, he does not interact with the society, so it's not applicable to us. When it is applicable, when the person comes out of asampragnata samadhi, or that special meditative state where he does not recognize anything outside. From that state, when he comes out and interacts with all the people like us, how do we recognize them? The person will not have any evil desires. That is the first criteria. And then second criteria, in 56th sloka, it says, Dukheshu anudvignamanaha, Sukheshu vigataspruha, Vitaraga bhayakrodaha, Sthitadir muniruchyate. Here it talks about another qualities that are exhibited by such aparoksha jnani. He will be dukkeshu anudvignamanaha. When bad things happen, when sorrowful things happen, people normally get upset, they get depressed, they behave in a very strange way and all that. Same way, when something very wonderful happens, they will be in high spirits and they'll be excited, and so people behave in kind of normal people like us, we behave like that. But aparoksha jnani, the way they behave is, when such highly depressive moments come, they will be smiling and they will not be exhibiting any perturbance of mind. Of course, one example we can talk about is, of course, he is not even he is actually Paramatma himself, but he exhibits, to demonstrate to the world how an real aparoksha jnani works. Paramatma demonstrates, because for Paramatma he is independent, swatantra. For him nothing affects. He is nitya ananda purna. That means personification of bliss. He is never affected by anything in the world. But in Ramavatara, when Dasharatha tells Rama that you will be crowned the king of this whole kingdom. He was prince and he will be crowned as the king. Rama says, okay, that's fine. And then Kaikeyi asks the boons. He says, and Dasharatha gets devastated. But Rama is totally unperturbed. Okay, you have to go to the forest. Okay, I'll go to the forest. Same smile. The smile didn't change. That's of course, Paramatma himself, but he is demonstrating the way. Aparoksha Jnanis, like, Raghavan Swami and all, there's an interesting episode that happens, like during his lifetime, like when he's before the taking the ashrama, he goes to the poverty. A lot of people, oh, such a great personality, Raghavendra Swami, he went through such sorrowful moments of poverty. How come? How come? But it was not sorrowful. Of course, the poverty was there, but it did not bother him at all. He was never affected by the poverty. People say, oh, he went through the sorrow of the poverty. No, it did not. He did not. The poverty did not give him any sorrow. He was totally unaffected. He says, okay, this is what God gave. Fine. I'm fine with that. So that is how the Aparoksha Jnani will be behaving. So he is totally unaffected. So Dukkeshu, Anudvigna, Udvigna is totally perturbed mind. Such perturbed mind is not there during sorrowful moments. And Sukheshu Vigata Spruha, when wonderful, joyful things happen, they don't get overexcited. Okay, this is what God gave, fine. And they'll be so indifferent. That's why I say Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. They do not have Raga, attachment, Bhaya, fear, Krodha, anger. These qualities are not exhibited by. They don't show any of this. Not that they don't show, they don't have. See, some people may have it, cover it up. No, it's not that kind of a covering it up, but they don't even get through that. They give up all those qualities. So they don't have the any fear of anything. Paramatma is there. There he will take care. And like remember the Prahalada, when the father puts him to all, he is totally unaffected. Okay, whatever God says, he will is left to God. That is how the Aparoksha Jnani. So, and then Krishna goes on further explaining this, and he says, next sloka, 57 sloka, he says, Yes sarvatra anabhisneha tattat prapya shubhashubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna patishtita. And not only themselves, how they, dukkha sukha happens to them, but with respect to interacting with others. So he says, they are because so detached to everything. They have kind of a detached attachment. They do all the activities, worldly activities. But anabhik sneha sarvatra abhisneha. Sneha is attachment, friendliness, desire, attachment. That is not there. They do not have any excessive attachment to anything. And tat prapya shubha ashubham. Good things or bad things, people do something good to them. People do something bad to them. And they do not react. Oh, you did something good? Okay, I'll praise you a lot. You did something bad to me. I don't like you. This kind of behavior don't show. They na abhinandati na dvesh. Dvesha means hatred. They are beyond hate. They don't hate people. They don't get over attached to people. They don't flatter people. No flattering, no hatred, nothing. So this is a lakshana. Fake babas cannot cover this up. They show their happiness if somebody do nice to them, or somebody is not nice to them, they don't like, they express their dislike, disapproval, all these kind of things. But a true jnani, he does not show any attachment or hatred, anything. They don't show any of those reactions. They behave equanimously to everybody. That is what how they interact with others also. So this is another lakshana they exhibit, and the way they do it, how they do it means the next sloka it explains. Yada samharate chayam kurmangani sarvashah indriyani indriyarthebhyah tasya prajna patishtita. Tasya prajna, his prajna is for well formed. That means he is aproksha jnani lakshana during non asampragnata samadhi, not during sampragnata, because sampragnata samadhi is fine. During other times, asampragnata samadhi time, they will be not at all attached, they will not have raga, bhaya, krodha. During asampragnata samadhi, that's not what we're talking about. At other times, when they are not in asampragnata samadhi also, how they behave is yada samharate. Samharate means not killing. Here, it's not samhara. Here, samyak something totally taking them inside. Like for example, a tortoise or turtle, you might have heard about this. When something comes again, like harmful comes to them or something, they expect a harm. What they do is they take in all their organs, and you see only the outer shell. So they just draw in everything, drawing in that quality they exhibit, just like a turtle or tortoise draws in all its organs inside. Is giving only a comparison. It's not that tortoise has anything to do with jnana or apramoksha jnana or anything like that, but a nice example. Just like a turtle draws in all its organs inside and covers it, same way, what a jnani does is, kurma is like a tortoise, angani, its own limbs like head, legs, the four legs, it draws inside from all directions. Like that, indriyani, indriya arthebhya he samharate. So same way, a jnani draws in. So our indriyas run, like you might have experienced, like something very nice is there, wonderful. You immediately want to see a nice movie comes. Oh, I want to watch the movie. I want to watch the movie. Or anything, nice picture, nice scenery. Oh, I want to see that. So they are like we get attracted to so many things. Our nice tasty food is there. We want to taste it. Like that, the indriyas, our sense organs, run after the indriya vishayas, shabda, sparsha, rasa, rupa, gandha, we call that is the sound. Good sound is there, we want to hear. And we want to touch nice and wonderful soft things, we want to touch it. And shabda, sparsha, rasa, taste, we want to taste nice, wonderful thing. Smell, nice smelling things, we want to have them. Fragrance is beautiful. Ah, so fragrant, nice. And like that, all good things, the indriyas, the sense organs, run after the indriya artha, shabda, sparsha, rasa, rupa, gandha. The five indriyas run after the five indriya vishayas. They run after that. But a good jnani, great jnani, he takes all his attachment to them. He controls his sense, or basically controlling the sense organs from the matters. So the sense organs are drawn in. They don't let them run towards the matters. So indriyani, indriya arthebhya, from the matters they draw their sense organs and don't let them go after them. They don't let their sense organs run after them. That's how they control. So, and then Vishaya Vinivartante Nirahara Sedehina, this sloka will cover the other slokas next time. I'll pause it here so that any questions are there, you can feel free to ask. Hare Srinivasa.
Namaskara, Guruji. I have a general question. Now, how do we develop the dharma jnana? Because dharma is many times context based, and because there are like infinite number of situations, it's not possible probably to have it in the form of a rule book. So, and many times there are conflicts of different dharmas, two or more dharmas at the same time. So, how do we really develop our jnana of dharma itself?
Yeah, it's a good question, but actually we are kind of going ahead because we are still in the second chapter where this is
Okay.
yoga, and in third chapter, that thing comes, the third and fourth, gahana karmano gati. What you say is absolutely true. Gahana karmano gati is very, very complex because, as you said, there'll be clash or something appears to be right, but it may not be right. Something appears to be wrong. Maybe that's what is right. So Gahana Karmano Gatihi, actually Krishna says that the knowledge about the karma, dharma is very complex. So how do we know? Means the one of the things that is there is basically the Sreshta, Yajidasa is the Sreshta, others under those circumstances, how others behaved. There's one, no, multiple. There's not like one rules. As you said, there's no one set of rules. So if under the same circumstances, how great people acted. That's one guideline. The second
Okay.
guideline, gurus. That's the best. One of the things is, okay, in this particular circumstance, this is what I think is right, or I'm not sure, I'm confused. What should I do? So they take guidance from the gurus and elders. Sometimes, like for example, a 10-year-old or 12-year-old child may not have enough knowledge, but somebody like elders, maybe parents or grandparents who went through the life, may have had enough experience to know what is right and what is not right. So guidance from elders, guidance from the gurus, that's another thing that will tell. And scriptures, the knowledge, that's why the scriptures we want to emphasize the study of the scripture. A lot of people say, oh, I will study the scriptures when I retire because I don't have, I have so many other activities, I don't. But the problem is this: first of all, when you get the old age, our sense organs become weak and our memory power comes down and everything. But at young age we have the fresh sponge, like we can absorb everything. So at that time we read the scriptures, that will give us a guideline under what circumstances, what is dharma, what is adharma. So the scriptural knowledge is another thing that helps. So like that, guidance from elders, guidance from gurus, guidance from scriptures, these are multiple paths. So these are all the ways. And sometimes our own anubhava helps. We do certain, okay, this is what right we think, and we do something and we realize, oh, this is not right. So our own realization sometimes helps us. So there are multiple scenarios which will tell us what is right, what is not right. There is not one set of, okay, this is what categorize, because gahana karmano gatihi, it's very complex. But don't give up just because it's complex. No, I don't want to worry about it. It's complex, it's too much, so let me give it up. No, because we have to interact, we have to act in the society. So it is necessary that we understand what is dharma, what is not dharma. So this we get from multiple channels, not one place, is not one shop, one place shop, but multiple paths, multiple channels are there. We have to use all of them. And Bhagavan has given our own intellect. We have to logically also think our own selves, within ourselves, what is right, what is not right. So there is not one single straightforward set of rules, but a complex set of rules are there. But gurus will guide us, and things can happen in a right way if we really have the right intentions.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Guruji. And sorry about jumping chapters. Uh, I didn't have anything on the chapter that we did today, but this was there on my mind since a long time, so I just asked. Thank you very much, Guruji.
No problem, that's fine.
So I have a question. So you mentioned asampragnat samadhi and aparoksh darshan. So what is there a relationship between asampragnat samadhi and aparoksh?
Yes, Samprajnana Samadhi basically is possible for an aparoksha jnani. For a paroksha jnani, is because basically Asamprajnana Samadhi is nothing but the person is able to link with Paramatma. That can happen only after aparoksha darshana. So this Asamprajnana Samadhi is possible only for an aparoksha jnani. And even for aparoksha jnani, okay, whenever I want, I go to Asamprajnana. No, sometimes they realize when they can go into asana, when they cannot. They have that awareness because of their aparoksha darshana. First time it happens is called aparoksha darshana. Then after that, this aparoksha darshana can happen multiple times. But the first time is what triggers, and because they remember how that Paramatma darshana happened, that form, they remember so much, and they can concentrate deeply on that and block the entire outside world. So basically, asampragnat samadhi can happen, is possible only for a person who has become an aparoksha jnani. So aparoksha darshana, the first time they have aparoksha darshana, they know how the Paramatma's bimba looks like, and then they are able to concentrate with a deep mind and forget about the whole outside world. So there is a link. The link is asampragnat samadhi is possible for only those who had the aparoksha darshana.
Okay, so in the samadhi avastha, so is the Gyani, is he doing the aparoksha of the Lord?
In the samadhi avastha, that it's possible to have the aparoksha darshana, but may not be for the entire duration. So during asampragnat samadhi, like for example, somebody is in asampragnat samadhi for say 3 days, 4 days, and or maybe 1 day, maybe few hours. The aparoksha darshana itself may be for a few minutes. So the rest of the time, the aparoksha darshana may just get switched off, but still the person is able to have the what you call samadhi avastha, where he is thinking about a paroksha bimba itself. Though Paramatma, he looked like during aparoksha darshana, and now I want to see Paramatma. So he puts his mind, rests his mind in the form of the Paramatma, but that may not be for aparoksha darshana itself. So aparoksha darshana itself may be during a very small segment of the entire asampragnat samadhi. So the aparoksha darshana will not be there during the entire asampragnat samadhi, but in a portion of it, it will be there, and rest of the time, the person is able to concentrate and forget about all the things around.
Dhanyavad. Rastan, namaskar.
Sure.
Guruji, I have one more question. Now, in the meditative state, people often say that they have seen their Ishtadevata or Devi in different forms. So, is it really dependent on the form of the Paramatma that they have visualized in their mind, or how do we understand this?
Yeah. See, it is possible because the paroksha darshana is always possible. So they might have seen some image, like people see in the sky, people may see inside them. So a lot of things we hear about that. They're fortunate to have that, but that may not be a paroksha darshana itself, because as we discussed all this during the slokas, if it is really a paroksha darshana itself, that person will behave in all these ways that have been specified. So it is possible that they may have a paroksha darshana. So which is also nice, because it's not that they get benefited from that. So they see, like some people say, I have seen Krishna during the, in the sky, I could see some image. So people talk about all this. They are their personal experiences. There's nothing wrong in that. And it is possible that they have meditated, kind of had some certain concept about Paramatma, and their devotion has reached a very nice depth, and they might have had a darshana, but that may not be aparoksha darshana itself. Aparoksha darshana basically seeing the Paramatma inside Bimbarupi. So it is not seeing outside, it is seeing inside itself, and the Bimba darshana itself. It may not be a paroksha darshana itself. That means the aparoksha darshana is basically makes the person kind of a quantum leap, in the sense that person will have total detachment with the world after that. So one who had aparoksha darshana, basically his behavior will change dramatically. So there will be, as we explained in these slokas, they will exhibit these qualities. So if somebody who says, okay, I saw the Paramatma and I had aparoksha darshana, they may claim, but if they exhibit these qualities, then you can accept, yes, they had aparoksha darshana. But if they don't exhibit these qualities, then it's an empty claim. They just said, oh, I had aparoksha darshana. Somebody may claim it, but it's an empty claim, because if they really had aparoksha darshana, then they exhibit these qualities. So somebody might have seen it, they're fortunate, they might have seen, but it may not be aparoksha darshana itself.
Thank you, Guru.
Namaskar, uncle. If it's not too late, can I ask one question? Yeah. So when you were describing the Sthita Prajna Sthiti as, someone, that kind of equanimity, where a blissful state where regardless of what happens, you're unaffected by it. I am having a little hard time reconciling that with the feeling of empathy. Like if someone around is suffering, then you feel their sorrow. at some level. But if we are saying that a Sthita Prajna feels none of that and remains blissful, does it mean that he lacks empathy at some level?
No, not really, because see, the person when during a Sampagna Samadhi, he is disconnected. Matras Pashastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukhadukadaha. Having empathy or sympathy is different from having attachment, because the person knows that the cause for the attachment is the Abhimana. So when he has done Abhimana Tyaga, why you are attached to only one person? There's so many other people are suffering. Oh, this person is suffering. Only you are attached to only that person, and if that person is your enemy, his suffering will make you happy. Actually, if the person is your friend or close relative, it makes you sad. So the cause for your sadness or happiness is actually your attachment to the person. So the abhimana tyaga matras prashastra kaunteya sitoshna sukhadukadaha, that sloka that went through, that actually gives the answer for that.
I see.
Namaskara, Gurugala.
Sure. Yeah.
So Asampragnata Samadhi and the Aparoksha Gnana is available only for those jivas with Sattvika Guna. But just following and without knowing our own yogyata, how will anyone know if they are headed in the right path or wrong path or whichever path?
Yeah, that is actually known as, of course, our own. We don't know our own swabhava, we don't know our own karma balance, but based on swabhava and based on the karma balance, our effort will be there. So the effort is the guidance. If we are doing an effort in the right direction, that means our swabhava and karma are in good. So, like for example, people are all attending this and trying to listen and acquire knowledge. That's an indication that your bent of mind is towards God. So that's an indicator. The effort is the indicator. We may not know our swabhava, we may not know our karma balance, but based on swabhava and karma balance, we make an effort. So the effort is the scale, is an indicator. That's the gauge which tells us whether we are in the right direction or not in the right direction.
But again, Gurugala, if that effort can be channelized in multiple directions, right? I mean, among those directions, how do we know which is the right path?
Yeah, that's where the help from the gurus comes. The gurus will tell, is that the right path or is this not the right path? So the guidance from the gurus will help us in steering through that.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll again meet on Wednesday.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಗುರುಗಳೇ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಗಳೇ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಗುರುಗಳೇ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಹರೇ ನಮ.
ಹರೇ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Kara.